Hey everybody, in this video, we're going to learn about while true loops. And in the last video, we learned about just while loops. And we want to use while or while true in cases where we don't know how many times we're going to run a block of code. For loops are really good for when we do know how many times we're going to run a block of code. Now, in the last one, we did guess a number between 1 and 10. We knew the secret was 4. So we asked the user, hey, guess what number it is? And then it wasn't true, so we gave them some feedback, but then we asked them again. And then when they guessed it correctly, outside of the loop, we printed you've won. And it works just fine. But we get this like kind of awkwardness where we're like having to duplicate code. It's usually not good in programming to do that. So we're going to find out a way not to do that using while true. So let's go ahead and delete this code. And we're going to put a while true above this. So this is nice having a while true because it's like anything that we want to repeat, we just automatically put inside here as opposed to putting it above first and then put it inside. So now if we run it, we do 4, 5, 6, and it keeps running no matter what we enter because we don't have a way to stop our code. In previous ones, we had a condition where we stayed in the loop. This one, we're all about how to get out of the loop because a true keeps us in the loop forever. So how do we get out? So only if the guess equals the secret do we want to break out of the loop. So a break will get out of loops. It only gets out of one loop and it gets out of the innermost loop. So if you have two loops, one inside the other, it'll break out of the inside loop. So let's go ahead and test this now. And we do a 3, a 2, a 4, and it stops. Yay. What if we do a 4 right away though? Yep, stops there too. Nice. So it's already looking maybe a little bit neater than the last one, the regular while loop. Kind of like it. Now let's give the user some feedback if they got it incorrect. So you might think, well, I want to do like print incorrect here. And if we run it, then if we do a 3, incorrect, 2, 4. So even when we do a 4, we get incorrect. What if we do a 4 right away? Yeah, we still get incorrect because it just prints it right away after we guess. So the order matters, like on previous ones. So after we ask the user a question, we're checking to see if they guessed it correctly. And then we break out. So if this is true, we get out of the loop. So anything after this would mean that they didn't get it right. So what if we put it down here? So if we do a 2, a 3, and a 4. Okay. That works. What if we do 4 right away? All right, that works too. So you can either do it this way, or you can make it a little bit more obvious and add an else statement to this, and then put this inside of the else statement. Makes it look a little bit more obvious that it's either this, you get out, or you print this. So we can do a 3, a 4, good, and a 4. We're good here. And always keep checking with your secret later on, like after a couple guesses or right away. Always good to keep checking when you change little bits of code. And then we need to give them some feedback if they got it right. So we said, hey, incorrect. What if they get it correct? So we find the part of the code where they get it correct, and that's this part right here. And we break out. So if we put our print statement that you've won down here after the break, we get a little bit of a feedback that says this code is unreachable. Now, nothing bad happens except this didn't run, but nothing breaks. But just know that this code is unreachable because after a break statement, this break gets out of the loop, so it will never have an opportunity to get here because this exits the loop right away. So we need to change the order. So before we break, we want to go ahead and print. And then we can go ahead and run it, check it. 3, 4, and you've won. Now we're getting some feedback. What if we do it right away? And we get it there too. Last time we moved this outside of the loop. And the idea here was we're only running this code if they get it incorrect. And then anything outside of the loop would be correct. So now if we ran it, that still works. And if we put a 4 here, that still works. So either way will work. On the last one, it was, I felt like a little nicer to have it outside of the loop. But this one, maybe it makes a little bit more sense because we're explicitly checking. This is the only thing we're checking in our code. And the other one, we had like two, we had an if statement and the condition up here. This one, we just have a single condition. So it's kind of nice being right here because it's either you won or you lost. You keep guessing. Let's run it again. We get a 4, good to go. All right, so in summary, we have a while true, which means we stay in the loop. Right away, we ask them a question and we need to figure out how to get out of the loop. Then we can check on an else statement if we want to give them some feedback about incorrect. And then inside of this one, we have if you've won. So I think a while true looks a lot better than a while loop. For me, it's I get a little bit more comfortable with it because I'm using if statements to break out. And yeah, it's a little bit like it's a couple more lines of code, but I feel like it's a little more comfortable. Great job learning how to use a while true loop. Definitely can be a lot easier in some cases. If you guys need to go back and take a look at a regular while loop that has a condition, you guys can do that right over there. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.